Okay, what is up guys? Luke from Luke Learns, and we're just doing mug life today. So on eBay I sell a bunch of mugs. Thanks to Gary Vee, he kind of opened my eyes, like you can sell anything. And there's like kind of a following. I've had some Twitter questions at Luke Learns on Twitter. I've had some Twitter questions about mugs, what sells and how much I sell it for. Really everything is like subjective as far as like what sells for mugs. These 3 mugs, for example, they're part of a set. They're from like the 70s, I think. They're not gonna actually sell for that much. I had a pig one that actually sold, but I advertised it just as a pig mug and not part of this collection. You can kind of see behind me here, I have a bunch of mugs that I've listed. I've sold a bunch. I'll scroll some through the screen for you guys. But anyway, mug life. What is it? Honestly, it's just basically like buying a mug for 50 cents and selling it for 15. The best I've done was these were like 1950s Coors mugs, and I just saw it looked cool. I looked it up and I was like, dang, this is worth money. And then I looked down and there was 3 more. So for $2 before shipping, I made like 65 bucks. For $2 making 65. I mean, it was like probably like 54 after shipping, but whatever. I sell other stuff on eBay, but mug life is kind of like the roots of what I do. And I'm just gonna give you guys like a few tips on if you decide to sell mugs, what to look for as far as the mug condition goes, and also how to like prep your mug before you take the pictures. And we'll jump into like a little bit of how to take pictures. The first thing to invest in is actually this. It is the isopropyl alcohol. It's just like the rubbing alcohol you use for like wounds. This is the 91% stuff. You guys are going to use this a lot if you sell mugs. You're not going to get clean mugs every time you go to Goodwill and buy and source a mug. Invest in some of this alcohol. Soap and water works too, but this stuff I literally will just dab some on the paper towel, and obviously you need paper towel too. But I'll just dab a little bit on there. Warning to the wise, this stuff will remove paint if it's not like a sealed mug. if there's like paint on the outside, you're just gonna rub it through. First thing, if it's dirty, and you probably can't see from this far, but there's a little dirt on this mug, I'm gonna rub that alcohol on it, and it usually just rubs right off. Also, every mug, usually if you go to like any thrift store ever, they have these little stickers on here, and I'm not sure, I'm probably out of focus. What the heck? How did I get out of focus? Autofocus is on. Ugh. This stupid thing. You weren't supposed to be autofocusing. Camera problems. Sorry if you guys were totally out of focus there. Grab your mug, and they always have these little stickers on there. Sometimes you get lucky and you can just like peel it off and it has no show of sticker residue. But like I know for a fact, like the Goodwill mugs, those things, those stickers are like on there. Once you have the residue, that's what the alcohol's best for. It'll take that sticker stuff right off. Just let it sit. If it's not coming off, the alcohol, just let it sit a little bit, redo it. That rubbing alcohol like just saves time. Like to have to go and wash the dish in soap and water, and then eventually the soap will take off that gummy stuff. It's just not worth waiting that long. So sometimes if the mug's like got coffee in it or whatever though, still from previous owners, then I will just like wash it in the sink. But a lot of times the mug looks pretty good. They washed it before they brought it in. So anyway, first tip was that rubbing alcohol. The next thing is like obviously going to be pictures. I have 2 clamp lights. They're actually like left and right of me. I literally have this white foam board. So I literally have 2 pieces of this white foam board, and you can see it's foam board. It's $1 at the dollar store. I have 2 pieces. I put lights on both sides, and then you take pretty good pictures with it, honestly. It's just like the better the picture, the more professional it's going to look. I have plenty of pictures or mugs that have sold that don't have that picture, like don't have the white background or anything. So don't feel like you have to get it. Like I've sold stuff that like was just like on my living room carpet. Like if it's a clear picture, you're gonna be all right. Don't worry about it. Obviously, the more professional, the better. I've used like a poly bag, or you could even like honestly on some. God damn it, Bruno! Freaking dog. Okay, so I've used. You can take a picture anywhere. It really doesn't matter as long as it's clear. So when you do take pictures of the mug, take as many as you can. So I take the front, the back. I take pictures of both sides of the handle, the bottom, and the inside. About 7 pictures, usually 5 to 7. Don't just take one picture, because this mug in particular, it's missing some paint on the front. If you only took the other side, people, they might get mad at you and want to refund. I didn't even notice that, so I'll probably not make any money on that mug. That's the other thing, condition. When you buy a mug, just because like you find this like dope Starbucks mug or whatever, it's gotta be in good condition. If it's used and you market it as used, there can be a little like rough edge. Like as long as there's not big chips out of it, the bottom can be a little dirty, a little scuffed up. People are gonna expect that. But what you can't have is on the inside, there's gonna be like hazing, where it's like those micro cracks or whatever. Pass on any mug like that. Unless it's like from the 30s or something like insane, then pass on it. There's always the exception. Any other mug, if it's got any cracks, wiggle the handle a little bit. Sometimes the handles are loose. I've bought them where the handle's actually loose and it didn't look like it was cracked, but it was. You gotta inspect that sucker. Also, if there's paint, this is all painted. This one has some paint missing on it, and if you don't notice that, like unless that sucker's like from the 30s or like super antique or super desirable, it's probably not going to sell for much, if at all. You want to kind of flip stuff fast, right? Like it's kind of the point. Condition, super important. No chips, obviously. I pass on a lot of like what could sell for good money because they have a chip on it. I don't want to sell a chip mug, and it's just like structurally not as good for shipping then. Continuing, for shipping. So for shipping, what I've been doing lately is I will wrap the mug one time all the way around with the bubble wrap, and I buy bubble wrap at Walmart. It's probably not the cheapest way to do it, but I do. Just as a tip for free shipping materials, I work in a small business and we go through tons of boxes. Like anything that comes in has a box. So if you go to like a local store near you, they probably have bubble wrap that they're gonna throw away. They probably have boxes they're gonna throw away. You just have to go look for them. Otherwise, Walmart has boxes and bubble wrap. You're just gonna have to raise your prices a little bit to compensate for cost. I take a piece of tape, I wrap that mug, and I'm actually not selling this yet, but I wrap it, I stuff actually, I pull it down a little bit. I did that wrong. I pull it down so there's just a little overhang on the bottom, and then that way I can stuff all that top material in the mug because that is better. Then I'll just throw a piece of tape around the bottom. It doesn't have to be like perfect. And this, I'm just rushing this for the video's sake, but you kind of get something like that. So this next part is actually from another seller, and actually his method was wrong except for this. The story goes, when I shipped my first couple mugs, I looked on YouTube for the cheapest way to ship a mug, and this guy, he put it in a poly bag. He did this bubble wrap thing, and then he cut this rectangle out around the handle, which does work. Like this is a good tip. But then he wrapped it one more time in bubble wrap and threw it in a poly bag. And I had two mugs. My first like 2 mugs broke, so I don't do that anymore. But you're gonna grab that rectangle piece. You wrap it around the handle because that's like the weakest part of the mug, and then you end up with that. So this is like pre-packaging now. This is just like safety packaging. Now what I do, like I was buying Walmart boxes. They're 58 cents. It's a 6x6x6 box, and honestly, dude, they work like so good. It's just for a little more work though. I get these boxes for free, so it's kind of just like it's okay. Like I'll do the little work for a free box. So I take these are the shoe boxes. These are U.S. Postal Service priority mail shoe boxes. And I only ship priorities. It works for me that way. It's a little more, but people get their stuff faster, and having people be happy, I'd rather have that. I take that box, I kind of like guess with the flaps how big that box has to be, and then I'll just cut it. You can generally just cut this sucker in half and then whittle it down to size after that if needed. Whittle it down to size after that. So now I have this box, it's in half. It has one side already perfectly perforated and ready to be folded. That was probably loud. So now I have the top half of the box. What I like to do is I actually bubble wrap. Let's imagine my paper towels bubble wrap. You could use paper towel though, honestly. Just to give a softer bottom of the box. Then I'll load that in there. At that point, you want to give padding on every side of the mug. If you're not going to use 2 boxes, this sucker has to be as padded as possible. And I literally I'll just sit there and figure it out. You don't want the mug to move, and you want it to be surrounded by padding. This paper towel would actually work really good. I just like bubble wrap. It just seems a little more professional professional to me. Once I actually put it in there, and a lot of people do this before, but my mug's in there, I'll take the scissors and just cut around each of the edges to make my box the right size. And then in order for it to have like a square flap, you actually have to perforate the box itself. And it's a little awkward. I leave the items in there just because I know how low I can get with that perforated edge. Obviously, if it's something like that you can't handle scratching up, then don't use that. Don't do that method. Because I did this one fast, it's a little short. I could have went a little deeper down here. It would actually hold and it would be fine. And then you just tape that up and you have a custom box. And there's no rattle. Like, that's what you want to avoid. Any rattle with the mug inside is room for that mug to get broken in shipping. And then the last precaution, like this has like a little, I'm missing it. I'd actually use this. And obviously it's not like super symmetrical. So the more time you take, the closer to perfect square you can get. But I don't, honestly, no one's ever complained, and I've done this a bunch of times. I would just put my label on top here. It's a little misshapen, but whatever. It's a perfect box. I feel pretty confident that, like, even with a little bit of squishing, this would be okay. Okay, let's say this mug sold for like 80 bucks. I would not just do this. Like, every precaution, I would actually wrap this one more time in bubble wrap and then make a bigger box to put this in. Guys, it's super easy to get caught up in wanting to ship stuff like super cheap, but if you do that, you're taking more of a risk to break stuff, and I won't take that risk with expensive stuff. Like, just pay the extra $1. It's your fault for not putting the price on there right. Like, really. And like, just pay the extra $1 for shipping and make some money and not lose all your money, you know, for that item. The safer the better, guys. You don't have to use bubble wrap. You can use paper towel, newspaper, Walmart bags. Like, say when you buy a mug at Goodwill, ask them to wrap it and then use that same paper as padding for your boxes. Like, that's free. That's how I do Mug Life, guys. It's just like, Gary Vee changed my life with Mug Life, and I want to show you a little more in depth of how I can help you with Mug Life if you're wondering how to ship it, how to clean it, or whatever. That's how I do it, and I've sold a few mugs. So I hope you found this informational. I hope I wasn't out of focus too much this video. I saw it warped. Anyway, Luke out, Luke Deuces. Thanks for watching. I appreciate any comment. Please subscribe to the channel if you found this useful. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time.